Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who were well. Peace and mercy to the Tazadak Akim out there, who's laboring this truth with all sincerity. All right, I'm the brother Tabayim, back at it again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. I'm at work right now, and through the spirit, I say, you know what, since I'm on my, quick break, let me just, try to get a quick video in through the spirit. So it's not going to be that long, but, through the spirit is edifying. And today's topic is going into, loving not the world and going into laying our treasures in the heavens. Because as things are, arising, tensions are rising in the Middle East, all right, between Iran and Israel, and we know through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's going to lead into World War III, all right. We know we're in a hard time right now of, prophecies, all right. Even though, it's the rumors, but we're very close, we're at the door. So right now is important, especially for you new listeners, all right, to turn to the Lord, all right, and to, be more, depart more from this world, all right. And matter of fact, I'm going to get the first precept through the spirit. I'm going to get Micah 2:10. It reads, arise ye and depart. So we're supposed to be spiritually departing from, this world. We're supposed to be spiritually removing ourselves from the ways of this world, from, the social medias, the things of the world. Okay? It reads, for this is not your rest. Yeah, this is not our rest. This world that we live in, all right, is not our rest. And we could break that down in many different ways of how this is not our rest. You waking up, having to work a 9 to 5 is not our rest. All right? When we read about scriptures about, being those future kings and priests, all right, in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on earth, you realize that a 9 to 5 is bullshit, man. Even if you make, let's say, $250,000 a year, even if you have your own business, your business could fail. Let's say you have a successful business and your business can end up failing. Now you're back to ground zero. Okay? This place that we live in, this world that we live in, is not our rest, because first and foremost, we're under the vibration of Esau and the captivity of Esau, all right? But I'm at work, we already know who Esau is through the spirit, okay? So we're under the oppression and captivity of Esau, so this is not our rest. Even if you have a home, okay? You can have a home and your home can be taken from you if you don't pay your property taxes, showing you that you don't have any ownership here in America. Okay? There's plenty of things to prove that this is not our rest. Us, you witnessing two men holding hands in the street. Now, in ancient times, homosexual or a sodomite, I'm gonna say, was you used to get put to death for stuff like that, for things like that. But now, the wickedness is at its highest peak. That's why in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, the Lord said, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the earth. Therefore, the Lord is going to send his plagues, famines, and pestilence upon it. Okay? Showing you that this is not our rest, man. It's all types of forms of wickedness here in this world, chiefly here in America. Okay? So we're supposed to be arising and departing from those ways, because those ways are like snares. This world is like a snare unto you. It could trap you. Okay? And I'm going to get that in the book of Mark. So I'm going to finish it off. It's Micah 2:10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. So this place is polluted. It's toxic. Okay? It shall destroy you. All right, those who was a part of this world, they're ultimately going to be destroyed. Those who are not following the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and just living their life in their own pleasure and joy and just think that it's free will, You know, they're going to be put to death. They're going to die in a very bad way, either through famine, through plagues, through the thermonuclear missiles. Okay? This world that we live in is polluted. Why? Because ultimately it's against the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. This world is contrary to the ways of the Lord. So therefore it becomes polluted. It's toxin. It's just like how it's pollution in the air is, you know, toxin, heavy chemicals in the air, which makes it polluted. It's the same thing with this world. It's toxic. Okay? And then when you breathe polluted air, it could lead you to be becoming sick. It could ultimately kill you. All right? Just as if you was to follow in the ways of this world, is ultimately going to lead you to sure destruction. Okay? Because the Lord is not he's not of the world. All right? So we're supposed to be arising and departing. So I'm going to get this in the book of Mark of this world. Let me see. Yep. This is the book of Mark chapter 4 verse 19. And the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lusts of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. So this applies to those who know, you know, this truth. Okay? Those who are believers, all right? Those who are laborers in this faith. You know, the cares of this world can choke you. You know, the deceitfulness of riches. Fretting upon another man's riches. Seeing what riches could do for you. You know, because, you know, when you have riches, all right, it could, you know, bring you woman. It could bring you, quote unquote, joy. It could bring you, like, you know, luxury things. All right. And there's no, you know, first and foremost, it's not an issue of you having nice things for yourself. It's about, you know, you being infatuated and loving it. Okay? You know, there's certain people that are infatuated with luxury cars, you know, luxury clothes, you know, women. All right? I'm talking about infatuated. Like, they can't, you know, that's what they think about daily. That's what they meditate on daily. On a daily basis. You know, yeah, we all in the flesh. Yeah, we know we might, you know, want those things, or, you know, from time to time, but we understand the balance, you know. And the cares of this world, like the scriptures say, it could choke you. All right, now you're trying to, like, you know, you putting everything into your into this world. Now you want to work you know, now you want to do things out of your norm, all right, to fulfill those needs of yours, all right, which basically, you know, you're putting off the time of laboring for the Lord, all right. That's how, you know, those things could choke you, because you putting too much care into it, all right. And it says, in the lust of other things entering in. So the lust of other things, it could be not only riches, it could be many other things, you know, that you may lust after. Like I mentioned before, it could be women, it could be cars, it could be clothes, it could be jewelry. All right, it could be eating at the finest restaurants all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know, always want to go on trips every week, every other week. You know, you always want to do something different. You want to party. You might want to hit the club, you know, on a regular. You know, so it's like those are the other lusts that's entering in, and it could choke you, and then you become unfruitful. So now you will stop laboring for the Lord. You start doing the work. You stop doing the work. Okay, so that's why it's important for us to arise and depart from this place, from this world, from, you know, chiefly, you know, here in America. All right. So let me get 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. It reads, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." So it says not to love the world. All right. Neither the things that are in the world, which we read in Mark the 4th chapter, those riches, those deceitfulness of riches. All right. You know, that anything that's in this world, you're not supposed to love it. Luxury cars, woman, even when you're a woman. Apostle Paul said, "Be as like you had none." You know, yeah, we have, you know, we love our wives and women, you know, our families, but they're of the world if they're not, you know, truly, you know, have an understanding of what the Lord is about. You know what I'm saying? So we're not supposed to love this world. Neither the things that are in this world. You're not supposed to love your job. You're not supposed to love nothing that's in this world. Yeah, we may have certain desires. Yeah, we may like certain things. Yeah, we may have certain taste for things. Because we all, at the end of the day, we all kings. We all, you know, even the ladies, they're princesses. We all have certain, you know, things that are about us that we like, you know. But the key thing is not to love. Because when you love something, you put your all into something. It's just like a relationship. When you truly love your woman, you know, in the beginning, in those beginning stages, you go above and beyond. You know, same thing. So don't love this world. Don't try to go above and beyond. You know, and just have that lust and that crave for the things that you may like. Don't do that. Don't be in that spirit. Okay? So we're not supposed to love this world, neither the things that are in this world. For it says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So if you love this world, the love of the Father is not in you. All right, proving that a lot of Christians don't really love the Lord because they love this world. They always speak about prospering in this world. All right, prosperity. That's all they teach in these churches. They teach about prosperity. These celebrities, they always speak about things of this world. About, you know, owning private jets, owning yachts, owning mansions. Who has more money than who? You know? Who fucks the baddest woman? All right? Who has more passport stamps? You know? Who has more real estate? I could keep going on and on and on. That's a person who loves this world because they boast in the things they have. They don't boast in serving the Lord. They don't boast on, you know, even, you know, of them. You know, like, man, listen, I done did this. They don't boast on, you know, things that are of the Lord. They boast of things that's all of this world. So you don't want to be like that person, you know, because the scriptures say what? If you love this world, the love of the Father is not in you, because you're not even meditating on the Lord, you know, because you're too busy, you know, loving the world. You know, being in that mirthful spirit, you know. Verse 16, it says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but it is of the world. So look, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, you know, that lust for your flesh. This is why people be having orgies. You know, people get drunk. All right, people, you know, feed into their fetishes. Look at P. Diddy. We don't have to get into any specifics, but I'm just giving you the perfect example. That's a person that's in the world that has the lust of his flesh, the lust of the eyes. You might be lusting, you know, seeing you know, that bust down VVS chain, bust down watch. You know, you might be lusting after the you know, that Lamborghini, the Rolls Royce. You know what I'm saying? All right, those are all those things that's in the world. And it says in the pride of life, because when people obtain these riches and have certain things, they begin to boast. They begin to feel like they're unstoppable. Just like Esau. All right? Because he's the one that's in rulership. He has all his power, all his wealth. All right? He could pretty much do anything in this world. Therefore, that's why he thinks that his kingdom is not going to fall or collapse. That's why when you read the book of Psalms, the 49th chapter, it says, for his inward thought is that his house should continue forever. It's the same thing when people obtain riches, wealth, power. Okay? That's the pride of life. You know? You don't even acknowledge that the Lord gave you these things. You feel like you did it yourself. All right? But those are all characteristics of those who are in this world, and that's not the spirit, or that's not the way we should design ourselves to be. Especially in these last days. All right. It says, and the world passeth away and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever, because everything in this world is temporary. Hence, we're going to get that in the next precept, 2 Corinthians 4:18. All right. But he that doeth the will of the Most High how we do it with the will of the Most High, by laboring this truth, teaching the word. All right, even those who are people who are not prophets and just believers, you do it with the will of the Most High by what? Keeping His commandments to the best of your ability, repenting, fasting, keeping our high holy days, not worshiping, not celebrating Christmas, not celebrating Easter, not celebrating July 4th, not celebrating Halloween, not having a Christmas tree in your house, not following the dietary laws, not eating pork, not eating shrimp. All right, not committing adultery, not being a murderer, honoring your parents. That's how you do with the will of the Most High. And if you do with the will of the Most High, you will abide forever. Okay, leading all the way. If you do that, hey, you might be an elect, and the elect are not gonna die on the side. Only the martyrs. But even the martyrs they're gonna be risen right back up. All right, so you're gonna abide forever all the way into the kingdom, man. Being those fruits, those first fruits. All right. So let me get this in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. It reads, verse 17, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment. All right, so the things that we go through, those trials and tribulations, is just for a moment. All right, because the Lord, the scriptures speak about how the Lord shortened the days for His elect's sake. So all these tribulations that we're going through, these burdens, it's all for a moment. It's not going to be too long. Okay. It reads, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, because what's prepared for us is the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on earth, which is far more exceeding in the weight of glory. We can't even we can only speculate how beautiful the kingdom is going to be. We can only speculate how things are actually going to be operated. But it's going to be far past of our imagination, when that time comes. We're going to be like, it's like, that's why what scriptures speak about, we're going to be giving all praises to the Most High. We're going to be chanting in the Lord's name. We're going to be singing. We're going to be dancing. It's going to be beautiful, man. All right. So it says, while we look not at the things which are seen. So we don't look at the things that it says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. So we don't look at the things that are seen, right? We don't lust after the things that are seen. We don't put our focus, all right, in like the riches of this world, the lust of the world, all right, because those are all things you physically see. You physically see a woman in their panties online. You know what I'm saying? You physically see people, throwing money in clubs, having their way, quote unquote. We don't look at those things. We look at the things that are not seen, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is the Lord. Okay? It reads, for the things which are seen are temporal. All these things that we see is temporal, man. All the scammers, all these celebrities, that the wealth they have, even Esau's rulership, it's all temporal. The Lord is going to strip all that away from them. It reads, but the things which are not seen are internal. So the things that we don't see is eternal. And that's the spirit, because we're going to be ruling, the Israelites are going to be ruling the kingdom of heaven, all right, which is going to be on earth forever and ever, man. All right, and even those 2/3 who get put to death on this side, they will be brought back through the loins of the elect. All right, which is the reason why we're supposed to be, storing our treasures in heaven, all right, and not on earth. Okay, but Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and with that, Shalom.